So a full setup of the NEXAT Pack is going to cost you £3 million. What the So yes, the NEXAT Pack is finally here. I mean, we're waiting a few weeks, I must admit. So the first part of the old Year 1 Season Pass is finally upon us. And if you had trouble getting it to work properly in the game, yeah, the issue that I had is that obviously once it's released at 1 o'clock today, that was great, no problem. It was saying on the Xbox screen where you've got the extras, it was saying 10.1 megabyte on the download. Obviously, that's the pre-install. What it should say is 629.1. Once that's done, it'll work in your game, no problem. So if you do have that problem and it's not showing up in your game, uninstall the pre-download and then reinstall it. Just the DLC, not the whole game. Fair enough. Now, obviously, we've got quite a bit of equipment in it. I mean, it's something different. We'll definitely say that. And what's different about that as well is you need potentially at the least 3 bits to work. And I'm going to pop this up on the screen now. And this is what I mean, because it's a little diagram of what you're going to need to be using what for. So let's make a start then. So we have got the old NEXAT, the actual carrier vehicle itself. We've got the Weinhof slurry module. We then got the Everstoric NX 1400, which is going to be going along with the old Weinhof. Yes, you're going to need those two together. You're going to need the seed hopper and then the carrier to go with it, which is a little bit strange because the Vaderstat Carrier NX is actually a disc arrow, but you need the seed hopper to mount it to. All right, fair enough. Then we'll come down a little bit further. And we've got the Vaderstat Inspire NX. Now, this is going to be a seeder. So, obviously, yeah, you're going to need the old seed hopper to go with that. Fine, no problem. You then got the planter. All right, fair enough. So you're going to need the seed hopper to go with that as well. We then got the Chop Star. The Chop Star Max. Now, this is going to be a weeder, which is interesting because weeders don't generally work in the game, but all right, fair enough. You then got your Darman SFP 22056 Profi class. Now that's going to be on its own, so you only need the carrier vehicle on this, which is great. You've then got the NEXCO, the actual harvest module, so that's going to be like your tank, and that's going to be obviously combined with one of these two. So we've got the standard header, and then we've got a corn header as well. Now, I did try a couple of different headers. They don't tend to work with them. Well, they don't tend to. They don't work with them at all. So you are going to need one of these if you're doing your standard crop, or then you're going to do your sunflower and your corn with that one. Right, so that's the bits in the game. So let's get cracking then. So let's start off with, we'll go through the whole process. So first off, we're going to need a NEXAT. And we're also going to be starting off doing a bit of disc harrowing, I reckon. So we're going to need to get that disc harrow and we're going to need that seed hopper. Now, when you're first starting off, because these come out of the shop in a certain direction, it can be a little bit awkward. We're going to say that anyway. So if you buy them in the order that you're reverse that you're going to use them anyway, I'll show you what I mean. So if we buy the carrier bit, the carrier NX, so that's going to be the old disc arrow, so we'll get that first. Yes, right, thank you very much. We're then going to get the seed hopper that mounts to. Yes, we get one of those, and then we are going to go and get the old NEXAT carrier vehicle. Now, there's very little customization on these. I mean, the NEXAT, we've got your Trelleborg, your Michelin, your BKT on your tyres. I mean, it's got 1100 horsepower engine, 15 mile an hour working speed. Well, it says speed there. Obviously, your working speed is going to be down to your individual implements. So that's going to be the Carrier NX, which has got a 14 meter working width, which is all right, and a 10 mile an hour working speed. So that's going to be that. No options on that one. And then the seed hopper, it is what it is, 20,500 litre capacity, and it's going to be 180.5 grand. So those three, I know we said at the start, 3 million to get like everything, get this full setup, but we're still talking, wow, that's best part of Well, that's over 1 million, isn't it? Those three together. All right, fair enough. So what have we bought so far? So the 2 units. So we're going to now need to go and get the old NEXAT, the actual carrier vehicle. So we'll buy that. Yes, thank you very much. Now, obviously, this is where it all comes together. So you're going to need to put that vehicle onto the seed hopper, which then connects up to that one. So that's why when starting off, it might be a good idea just to buy them in that direction. So we're getting there like that. Once you get close enough, you start to get these green lines. It's telling you basically where you need to pull the vehicle, so it actually attaches nicely. So a little bit bendy at the minute. So there you go. Once you get like in the right direction there, that's where you're going to be. Jobs are good. Now, if you used to come up the other way, and this is what I mean, it's a little bit weird in the driving. You're going to get the red lines. And it's going to be like, no, you can't attach that way. So if you come up to it like on the wrong side, it's going to give the red lines that way as well. Let's have a little look. You spin it around. No, you're not going to get any lines at all. Alright, fair enough. So you're looking for the green lines. So if you've got your vehicle positioned, I think this is what I mean, like maybe starting it off just buying him in that direction, because you it's a little bit awkward to manoeuvre. I mean, like the back wheel's spinning, well, turning the wrong direction. Fair enough. I mean, if you're really not in the area like that, you're going to get the red lines. So they're just like, no, you can't attach like that. Oh, that's just ridiculous. So just make sure you get to sort of that point. There we are. We're then going to do the unfold of the vehicle. So L, B and A, unfold. So it's going to go through the motions, it's going to lift up the small wheels, spin out the back wheels. It's then going to lift up the front wheels, spin those out, and then move the cab around. It's something like Transformers, let's face it, it really is. Now, once you get into the area where you've got your green lines, now if we just move it over a little bit, there is another... Whoa, what's going on here? Little runaway. If we go and do L, B and down on the D-pad, it's going to line it up for you. That's alright. I mean, I'm not turning anything. That's just doing it all on its own. That's like, what's it, guided parking, guided steering or whatever? That's awesome. And then once you get that attach option, you obviously attach it. Now, with the carrier bits, what you need to do is come up like that. You're going to get the lines again. So you just ease it in. Can we get the old automatic alignment? Oh, there we are. Don't even have to drive it in yourself. That's ace. And once you get that option, and we've gone too far. There we are. No, it's going a bit further back. So I'm holding down the auto alignment and it's just going wherever it wants. So once you get the option, attach it, and then you're ready to go. Alright, fair enough. But obviously, you can't really drive down the road like this. So you just fold it all up again. L, B and A. There we are. It's going to spin the cab around. It's going to fold up the implement, do the wheels. Jobs are good. So once you've got that done, we can then obviously go and fill up with some seed. So I'm going to go buy some seed actually. That would be a good idea. Right, let's get some seed. Now scrub that thought for a minute, because we're not doing seed, we're doing cultivated. There you are. Let's get cracking. Let's get cracking down to the field. And to be fair, it's a big vehicle. Don't get me wrong. It's massive. I mean, I'm here, or is it Prairie Farms, just so we can get the old... And it's just, it does jiggle. Whoa, hold on. Oh, too far. It does jiggle about. I mean, you do have the option of changing the steering angle when you're in the old work mode, but when you're driving down the road like this, it's all-wheel steered. You've got no other option, which is interesting. We'll call it that anyway. So we're going to go down to this field I've already got plowed out ready. We're going to give this a go. Now, obviously, you are going to need to approach the field in the correct manner, because obviously at the minute we've got the old was it disc harrow on the right hand side. You are going to need to have that going forwards. It's a little bit foggy today, I must admit. Right, let's get to the field then. So here we are. So we're at the field. So we now need to position it. Telegraph poles there and everything. Dear oh dear. Right, so you need to get to a corner ish like that. L, B and A, unfold it. It's going to go through its motions again. It's going to do all the old unfolding shenanigans. And then once it's done, once it's folded the implement down, we're then ready to go. So once you've got it unfolded, we're ready to go. So we'll just edge it into position, which is interesting. When you turn right, it sort of wiggles a little bit, I don't know what's going on with those wheels. It's just a bit random. But okay, so once we got it into position, like that, yeah, we'll go there. That seems about right. We'll then do, well, we make sure we're on the front bit. We then want to lower disc harrow, so LB and B. So it lowered it down, and away we go. Doing a bit of disc harrowing. Alright, fair enough indeed. And obviously it's a little bit, don't get me wrong, it's a little bit strange that you haven't have the old seed unit on to do some disc harrowing, but okay. We're going to try the old guidance system as well, the old steering assist. There we are, so we'll put that on, yes. Okay, there we are. So we're going to go to that, attach it to the active lane, and away we go. Are we attached to the active? That's better. Now we're going. So we're going to put it on there. Going to do it, no problem. Oh, it's coming up to that. Is he going to move that? Move out the way of that pole? Oh, it does it nicely. That being said, let's give it a go on the old worker. Let's have a little go with that. So we'll go to the worker. We'll go headlands first. Yes. Okay. No, we do want to go with worker. Come on, back into worker. There we are. So worker again. Yep, gonna have it on. Oh, we want to go to worker. That's the one. Have it on headlands. Yep, we're okay with that. Job's a good one. So the worker should now do its thing. There we go. I mean, it took a little bit of time to. It's gonna jiggle about, isn't it? Maybe it's just leave them to it. Here we go. Right, now we're going with a bit of working. Alright, fair enough. So obviously that's going to carry on down the field doing its thing. It's interesting what would happen if it's doing it the other way round. With the old cab overhanging, that's going to get caught on some telegraph poles. Alright, fair enough. Right, let's move on to the next one then. Right, so for the next one, it's going to be... Oh, hold on, watch out for that car. There we are. It's going to be one for if you're using your bit of slurry. Because it's got a cultivate. Well, it needs to attach to a cultivator anyway. And, yeah, it's a 2-in-1 job. We'll call it that anyway. So, what we need to do is get rid of this. So, we're going to unfold it first, actually. So, obviously, we need to dump and run. So, we'll unfold it, and we can leave the old, what is it, the disc harrow. We can leave the seeding unit as well. Right there, and we'll come back for that a little bit later. Right, so once we got that done, so we'll detach that, and then move that out the way. We'll then detach that, move that out the way, and we're laughing. Right, so we are now going to be moving on to the old slurry spreader. So in here, we're going to be using the old Weinhof slurry module. So we're going to need to connect that first. So that's going to hold 30,000 litres of your slurry and your digestate. And then putting it into the ground is going to be this, the old Evers Toric NX 1400. 14 metre working width with 10 mile an hour working speed. And again, like even like these three set up, I mean, you're talking over a million. Over a million. I mean, it's not a cheap piece of equipment. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you... In real life, this would be costing you a fortune. Obviously, in-game money, a little bit easy to come by, I don't imagine, real life. But alright, we'll carry on. Let's come up to like that. There we are. We'll do the old LB and down on the D-pad. Going to put it in position like that. So once we get the option to attach, there we are. We'll attach it. So it's all good. I don't know why it's put the cab out that. Well, I don't want to unfold it. I want to attach it to the vehicle. There we are. Must have preemptively attached it. Right, fair enough. So we're going to do the same thing again and get close enough. LB and down on the D-pad, so it's going to go up nice like that. And then once you get the option, it's going to, well, it should do. Why is it not attaching? We went far enough forward. What are you on about? There we are. Why did it stop? Alright, interesting. So it's got to be a little bit further back on that one. So now we're ready to put some slurry on the ground. Now, we are going to need to, yeah, we're going to need to fill this up, which is going to be interesting. I want to see if it fills from one of those purchasable silos. So let's get this folded up, and I'll see you over there. Right, so here we go. So can we get it? Well, is it going to be low enough to go under, to be fair? Oh, it is. Oh, we're right. Should be right. Oh, there we are. Start filling. What do we want? Diesel? No, we don't want diesel. That's going to be the actual vehicle itself. A bit further forward. No. Interesting. Do we need to spin it around? Do we need to open anything up? No, there's nothing there. We need to do we need to unfold it? Alright, so that puts the pipe out. Now can we fill it up? No, still on diesel. Alright, what about if we spin it around? So we'll put that back in. Come on, spin. This is not the easiest. This is not the easiest thing to manoeuvre, I must admit. So let's fill it up from that side then. Is that going to work? Got the option to start filling. Just diesel. Interesting, it's only going into that one. Looks like we can't fill it up from this bit. Very strange indeed. Right, so I've gone and got myself a standard slurry pit, to be fair, and now we're getting the option to fill it up. So it looks like we can't fill it up from a bi-innable silo, so just bear that in mind. If you are wanting to use this bit of the pack, yeah, you're gonna have to get a slurry pit. But alright, so now we've got it filled up, let's get down the field. Right, so here we are at the edge of the field. So we're going to do the same as we did before. So we'll go into it and unfold it. Do the old shenanigans. We need to make sure we unfold everything, to be fair, not just the tanker. Unfolding the tanker is just going to be putting out that arm. Although, to be fair, once you have got the arm out, if you want to go down the whole immersive route, you do have the option to move the arm about. L being right stick, left and right, and then L being right stick, up and down. So if you fancied, you know, putting the pipe into the actual slurry bit, you can do that, no problem. So once you've got that sorted, we then get it to where we want it to be. And yeah, it's a weird way of driving, I must admit. So once we're lined up like that, that'll do nicely. We're then going to go to the front part. We're going to do LB and B, lower the slurry distributor down. LB and X, turn it on. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit of a test first. So we've lowered the slurry distributor, but then it is a cultivator at the same time. Does it cultivate without putting slurry down? Oh, it does. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Now, obviously, you do want to turn the slurry on if you want to. No, I don't want to raise it up. There we are. Turn it on. LB and X. There we are. We're going to be using a bit of slurry as well. And to be fair, it's the same colour without the slurry. Just interesting. This is interesting indeed. Let's stop there. Let's have a little look on the old fertilisation map. There we are. Come on, carry on. Growth, no. There we are. And I would have to pick a field that's fully fertilised. That's probably why it's not showing anything. Hold on a minute. Let's find a different field. So we're in a field that's not been fertilised yet. So we're going to turn it on. And I'll add a little bit of a test, mind you. And it seems to be as soon as you lower the cultivator, well, the cultivating part, it turns the slurry tanker on. So if we turn that off, there we are. So we just get the cultivating state. That should be great. So if I have a little look on the map, it's done a little bit where we first had it turned on, mind you, but then the rest of it, job's a good one. So if we then turn it on, I'll get a different bit of colour change on it, and away we go. So potentially, I mean, if you don't have this filled with slurry or digestate, you could just use this as a cultivator. I mean, expensive cultivator, mind you, because the whole setup is going to cost you over $1 million, but you can do it. Right, so now we've got a bit of slurry into the ground. We've got our next job in hand. Now, this is either going to be, obviously, you're planting or you're seeding. So I've gone and got a seeder. So what we need to do, like we did previously, is to dump and run with this. So we'll move out the way, just leave these here like that. So we're going to need to unfold it. So we'll go to the vehicle itself, LB and A, unfold it, which is strange. Why can't you just, I mean, I get it, you know, you got to back out to the side. It's just a little bit of a faff, mind you, but okay, fair enough. So we'll unfold it like that. We'll then do detach on that bit. There we are. So it detaches the old bit that goes into the ground, the cultivator and the, what's it, it's not a boom hose, that sort of thing, what it puts slurry in the ground anyway. We're then going to detach the slurry unit as well Now what we do need to do is go and get that seeder unit back on first, because obviously that's gonna, well, the seed tank anyway, that's gonna hook up, and then we'll get the old seeding, I don't even know what to call it, the bit that goes into the ground, that's gonna be hooking up to this bit as well. So just, actually we'll drive in for this one rather than using the auto. Oh, there we are, that's alright. So once we got that attached, we can then go and put the seeding implement, there you are, we'll call it that, that's a better way of calling it, and we'll go and put this on there, and we're ready to go. Ooh, hold on, a bit too far, very fiddly. Right, so we go like that. No, maybe we should just use the auto guiding. It's probably a lot easier. Oh, the wheels, how they turn, it's just really random. Right, easy does it. Maybe not going at 100 mile an hour. Oh yeah, right, slow it down, that's it. That's it, is that in? Is that in? Oh, we're getting close. Yes, there we are. Fair enough. There we are, so that attaches there. Jobs are good. Now, there is another option. Now, we've already done the old disc harrowing part. If you wanted to do it all in one, you could then potentially go and hook up the disc harrow to the front of this. Whether it's this or the planter, it's going to work on both of them. So you just got the old seeding unit on the back. We'll just go up like that, up to the front, and then boom. It's all attached. Potentially we could disc harrow and seed both at the same time. Oh, interesting indeed. Now we're not going to do that today, we're going to leave that. We're just going to go straight for the seeding itself. So we're going to fold it all up, and I'm going to see it at the side of the field. Oh, to be fair, we need to get some seed in. Alright, let's get some seed in this then. So what we're going to do, we've got the seed and we've got our fertilizer. There is an oh dear, oh dear, my steering of this is not great. We do have the option on the old seeding unit. If you do LB and then you got up on the D-pad, change tank partitioning. So straight out of the shop, it's got 2,500 litre capacity for seeds and 18,000 litre capacity for solid fertilizer. So you could change that. I mean, it's only got two settings, mind you. So you can have 4,500 litres or 13,500 litres of solid fertilizer, or back to the original. So depending on whether you're using a, well, you're going to be planting a crop that's a little bit more high on the seed usage, yeah, you might want to do that instead. Oh, that's interesting indeed. Right, let's try and fill this up. So we've got some pallets there. That's not going to be having it. Alright, do we need to open it up? Right, so we've got it open, so left stick in, fills it up, no problem. So we'll do the solid fertilizer in, and we'll put the seeds in, and we can get cracking. Right, so we're just coming up to the field now, and it did have the same problem as the slurry distributor. It didn't like to be filled from a fillable silo, so just bear that in mind. You will need to buy some pallets from the shop. Right, so now we can get cracking. So we'll do the usual, we'll unfold it, make sure on the vehicle, go into work mode, it's going to do its thing. Then we'll go into the actual seeding unit on the bottom. I mean, if you have got the cultivator on the front, the disc harrow, yeah, you will need to lower all that down as well. So I suppose that could become quite complicated, to be fair. So we'll lower that down. There we are. We'll turn it all on, and we're ready to go. Putting some seed in the ground. Jobs are good. Now, obviously, like the cultivator itself, you know, it's going to work with your guidance steering. It's going to work with your worker. No problem. So definitely on something big like this. This is really made for like big fields, big map, that sort of thing. So prairie farms, definitely a winner for this one. No problem. And obviously, this is going to be the seeder. I mean, the plant is going to be the same. So you pick whichever one you want to do. So once you've got the seeding done, and if you've gone for the slurry one, you've already got one layer of fertilizer down. Great. Well, you can do this. This is awesome. So this has got 56 meter working with. That's insane. 22,000 litre capacity. It's going to cost you £250,000, mind you, but still. Oh dear. 56 meter working with. Now, the same thing applies. You know, just come up to it. Once you get the green lines, LB and down on the D-pad, it's going to, you know, jiggle its way in. But what's interesting about this, the cab moves out the way. Because it's so long, the cab moves out the way like that. Oh dear. I mean, we go into the well, in cab view, and, you know, you have to look out the side window. Alright, fair enough. It is what it is. So we need to go and fill the equipment up. So there we are. Now, I'd imagine if it's anything like the others, it's not going to fill up from a buyable silo. So you just have to get your IBCs of liquid fertilizer or herbicide from the shop. That's not too much of a big thing. Maybe that'll come with an update. Who knows? Right, let's get this out to the field then. Alright, so once we got to the field, this is something else I must admit. So, LB and A, unfold it. Unfold this bad boy, because it is huge. Oh, it's absolutely huge. I mean, look at the state of it. It's coming out like some sort of praying mantis. You have to zoom right out just to see both ends of it. Dear, oh dear. Obviously, you will need to... Well, I suppose you could. Could we turn it on now? Let's give it a go. I mean, yeah, you're doing one line at a time, mind you, but fair enough. So you are going to need to unfold the carrier vehicle. So it's going to do its whole shenanigans, put the wheels out. Yeah, I think we know how this works by now. So once you're ready, you can then get cracking. So it's finished off. Right, now we can go. So LB and X, turn it on. That's great. You can also change the working width. So if you do LB and right stick, there you are. So that moves it in like that. Once more, bit further in, and then all the way back out to the end. We're doing 56 meter working width on a sprayer. That is insane, but great at the same time. And just a little side note as we're going back to shop, this little dip here, it handles it quite well. There we are. Just takes it in its stride. Bit of an off-roader. The next part, potentially, if you weren't using the old 56 meter sprayer with some herbicide, is going to be this, the old Chop Star Max 13.5 meter working width. I mean, it's a weeder. I don't play with weeds on, to be fair. I'm not sure a lot of people do, but if you are going down the whole immersive route, you may want to put this on. Obviously, it's going to hook up with the old seed hopper, so you need that as well. You know, just run it over, get rid of the weeds, no problem. But we are moving on to the last bit, to the old harvesting. So first off, obviously, you are going to need to get this, the old NEXAT 32,500 litre capacity, 7 mile an hour working speed, with 318 grand to buy. That's a lot. That's almost as much as a whole harvester itself, but okay. And then on the front, you can pick either one of these. Obviously, it depends on what you're going to be doing. So you're going to be doing your standard grain crop. You go for the old Extreme Flex. You're going to go for your corn or your sunflowers. You go for the Patriot Rotor Disc. But we're going to go for a bit of, I think it's wheat in our field. So we got the extreme one, whatever it's called. So we're going to do the usual again. So we'll just hook it up there. We'll do the auto guiding, LB and down on the D-pad. So once it gets in place like that, it's going to hook itself up. There we are. Now, if you continue to hold on to LB and then try and press A to it to attach, it's going to start doing its folding animations. Just bear that in mind. Now, currently, this will only work with these two harvester headers. Now, I did try it on the old, was it the MacDon Pack we had come out the other day? Was it a 19 meter working width? Yeah, it didn't work with that. I did give it a go. It is what it is. Right, okay. So we'll fold it up. Let's get down to the field. Right, so here we are. We'll do the old unfolding. So we'll get set up nicely first, just so we're square on. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's one of the weirdest driving things I think we've got in the game. But okay, so LB and A, unfold it all. So it's going to be putting the old header down. It's going to do the wheels. Yeah, jobs are good, and we can then get cracking with harvesting some of this field. So once it's gone through its motions like that, we're ready to go. So we'll turn it on, LB and X. You do have the option to put the pipe out if you need to unload. I mean, 30,000 litre capacity. You're not going to be needing to unload that often, but it goes out to the side like that, no problem. And then once you're ready, into the field we go. Alright, fair enough. Why is there... Oh, that looks really high. Do we need to lower the harvester? Well, the header as well. Yes, we do need to lower the header down. But would have automatically done it. Alright, there we are. So now we're cracking. Now we're getting some weight done. Oh, we're laughing. We are laughing. Now, you do have the option to turn the old enable straw swath on. So LB and right on the D-pad. once it gets going. There we are. It's going to do two swaths. Alright, fair enough. Not the usual one that we're used to, but okay, something a little different. When you do have the options to move the header reel up and down and, you know, forwards and backwards if you want. It doesn't really do much in the game, to be fair. That being said, I mean, that is something different, don't get me wrong. It's a little bit weird, it's a little bit on the old driving abilities, but if you like something different, yeah, this is definitely going to be up your street. So that's the NEXAT Pack for you. Now, to be fair, I would imagine, yeah, it being nearly £3 million, if you want to get the full setup, there is going to be cheaper alternatives out there. But obviously, this is going to be like the next thing in progression in farming. So that's what it's all about. So if you're into the next thing, you're into something new, you know, get cracking with this, because it's a decent bit of kit, I must admit. Now, obviously, this is a paid DLC. There is a link down below if you haven't already picked it up, and it will help the channel out at no extra cost if you're paying on PC, that is, mind you. That being said, something a little different, something you can get your teeth into.